We are thing 1 and thing 2 and we are going south. Holy shit. It's happening. Ah!
I guess we're doing this then.
I guess we are.
Hi guys, Katie here.
And Emma. This is weird.
Yeah.
Ah!
And now we're finally recording an episode. Like, this is mental. Also, I feel like we should have a like counter because it's
Oh yeah.
it's gonna happen.
The mentioning of counters will make sense.
Oh yes, we will explain that in a second. I feel like that second's just rolled around though.
Oh yeah.
Emma.
Do you like me to explain the counters?
Yeah, I feel like you need to explain the counters.
Basically, Katie and I say enough shit too often to the fact where we decided it'd be quite funny to have counters, so we'll have a bit of a counter system going on if Editor Katie, wow, the English is going well today. Editor Katie can remember to do that. Editor Katie, we love you.
We do. So yeah, I feel like we should probably maybe give you some background on our friendship.
Yeah, before we dive into how this actually happened, which is a fun story.
It's a really fun story. So yeah.
Well, we'll go way back.
Yeah, I feel like we need to shoot all the way back to me moving.
Sounds like we're going back to your birth. We're not going that far.
No, we're only going back 10 years, not 17 years. So yeah.
What did you do? How are we? Whoa.
Pretty much. We're gonna shoot way back. And we're gonna go back to 10 years ago. That's fucking crazy. I think me and Emma have been friends 10 years.
We've known each other 10 years.
Yeah, we've known each other 10 years. Haven't been friends.
Complicated.
Which it will obviously get into at a later date. So pretty much, my parents got divorced, and they're both happily remarried now. Shout out to Tracy and Sean. We love you guys. Tracy, I know you've been listening.
Hi, Tracy.
So yeah, and I ended up moving about an hour and a half away from my childhood home. I've always lived there. And we never figured out the other day actually that I've lived more outside of my childhood home than I have in my childhood.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to lose my train of thought here. Where am I at?
Year 3, Katie. You moved.
So we moved. Me, my mum, and my older brother. We moved to live with my now stepdad, and I ended up going to school, the same school as Emma.
Even though we didn't talk for a year.
Yeah, because honestly, she kind of annoyed me.
I annoy everyone. It's fine.
But I feel like all great friendships start that way, because it's like the common thing of when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch, but I didn't know that language when I was in year 3, so I just didn't like you because you annoyed me.
I was annoying. I still am. I don't blame you.
I've just got used to it. And I hung out with some other people. Yeah, they're great.
That's kind of where that starts. But we didn't. The thing is, the story, the iconic story from early on in our friendship, I don't actually know exactly when it was because I probably couldn't find it. I think right. I want to say 2012, 2013.
Oh, you're gonna have to listen here.
So that's year 4 or year 5.
Right. Okay.
Is the time I'm thinking of when you know what story I'm going to tell when I mention my lovely auntie.
Oh.
My mum's sister lives in America, and she occasionally would come over to visit. She came with my cousin, who, yeah, he's our age, basically, and we were sat, just me and my cousin were just sat chilling, living life. And Katie, apparently, I feel like you should actually tell this because I didn't know this until about 4 years later.
Um, so I've got the story. Pretty much, I used to live in the high street, and Emma's grandma would live just like a little bit further off the high street. So we lived really close to each other because Emma spent 9% of the time there. And so I went to call for her because at that point, like, this is like a little bit later on, and I was kind of a loner. I didn't really have that many friends, and honestly, I still don't now. So I went to call for her, and Emma's auntie was outside, and she was like, I was like, oh, it's like, is Emma come out to play as you do when you're like year 4 and like you got to play, and she was like, oh no, she's playing with her cousin. Like you'll just have to like hang out. Well, she didn't say hang out. I genuinely can't remember what she said. She's like, oh, you'll just have to like play another day because she's playing with her cousin. You just need to go home. And you know what, right? I went home and I was really upset because I just thought Emma didn't want to play. Like,
But meanwhile, I didn't know that this was happening.
yeah.
I didn't even get told that she'd come to ask for me or anything. Like, I didn't get told anything. My grandma didn't even know, and it was her house. Like, it was that was a weird time, but that's probably the earliest story we have.
Obviously, like we have a friend.
Mm. Yeah.
So like we kind of
That's what you do in primary school because everyone knows everyone in primary school.
everyone's friends with everyone somehow.
Yeah.
It's like I was friends with like my older brother's friends, and they were friends with some of my friends, and it was all a bit weird because we're like 3 years apart from each other, and it was like,
oh,
okay then.
situation.
Yeah.
Where do we go from? I mean,
I don't know. I feel like
year 6 as a whole is probably pretty important.
year 6 is definitely a big thing for us in our friendship.
Yeah. Bear in mind, we forgot about the fact that we were friends before secondary school up until like a week ago. No, we literally forgot until like a week ago. We were like, hang on.
Oh my god. So yeah, it's like obviously in school. Wait, where am I going with this?
You tend to be friends with who you sit near.
Yeah, and
that can be said about us.
Me and Emma sat next to each other, right at the back of the classroom, like the rebels we were. I love the fact no one can see us doing all these hand motions, and it's like,
I think the point was that they were trying to calm down the back of the classroom, hence they put us there because
there was so
quiet. We were quiet. Are we still quiet?
I'm not.
I think it depends.
If you ask my college class, I am not. But anyway, jump back to year 6. So me and Emma sat next to each other. Like I think it's like all of the year, to be honest.
I think so.
Yeah,
if not like most of it.
Yeah, most of the year, if not. And we just kind of became friends by sitting next to each other, and it's like primary school friendships that like you really don't think's gonna last, but then you get chucked in the same form at secondary, and it's like, oh shit, I think we actually have to be friends now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess we're stuck now.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like this was such a false friendship. We're joking. We're joking. But no, year 6 was a time because we had that like sitting together and the hilarity of that back row. Because that back row was a mess.
It genuinely was.
For like 10, 11-year-olds.
There was me and Emma, and then we're not going to use names because it's not fair. And then there was 2 other girls, and then there was 2 boys right at the end. And one of the other girls, it wasn't me or Emma. We got involved a little bit later on. Well, I got involved a little bit later on.
I just stood and laughed.
She was putting push pins on the little pins on the end guy's chair, and he was sitting on them.
There was only one pin in that part.
I thought it had multiple times.
No, because they put one on one of the lads' chairs and one on the other.
And then me and the other girl put one on the lad's chair. And honestly, I don't think it really helped that back row. I think we
we really didn't.
Yeah.
At all.
I
mean, I probably did, but that's because I was quiet up until about 4 years ago.
I don't know. I want to say that I'm a quiet person. We'll just sidetrack from that a minute. I want to say that I'm a quiet person, but if you don't know me, I'm quiet. But if you know me, I am not.
Yeah.
You would say that I am not a quiet person. I'm just not. And
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Sticking to year 6 though. So we obviously had the iconic back row. We also had the iconic dance from year 6.
Ooh, the iconic dance. So
that was a bonding experience.
That was a genuine bonding experience. So do you all remember when you get made to do plays and shit? And I'm not talking about our end of year play. That's not what I'm talking about. It was this musical performance we had to do.
It was like a PE task, wasn't it?
Well, it was a PE task that our parents ended up coming to watch, which my mum didn't come. I was really sad about it. But
I can't remember. I think my grandma came. She was.
My mother was waiting for a parcel and it never showed up, and there was a little letter at the door thing. I think she fell asleep. But anyway, we made it. But pretty much. Actually, I'll let you.
You can let me do this one, okay? So we had to do this a full class effort in this fantastic dance. We had a big class. That was based off of The Jungle Book and used songs from The Jungle Book. I have that DVD somewhere. I know it's somewhere. I don't know where, and I don't want to find it. But Katie and I believe, were both monkeys.
We were both monkeys. We were.
Which was hilarious and just ended up causing so much chaos, not just because of us two, but because you had a group of 10/11-year-olds being monkeys. I wish I still had that onesie, but to be fair, if I did, I wouldn't fit it. I've grown a bit. But we have fun ones from that, as in trying to take it seriously because we were girls and we wanted to do it seriously, and the lads just mucking about. I nearly snapped my neck because we swung on ropes and I slid with the mat. The mat slid with me. Safety mats. Oh, those safety mats, they did absolutely nothing. Iconic in primary school. Yeah, we just have daft ones. It was just an entire... I genuinely think every single one of us as monkeys nearly died somehow because of those ropes.
Honestly, yeah.
It's because, right? I'll tell you why. It's because they never let us, because they're proper to set what they look like. They're proper gym ropes. So when gymnasts train and they climb up ropes, those ropes, we were trusted to swing on them across a mat that was supposed to represent water or something. Oh, it's just that was the one time they were ever out, I swear. But it just, that was fun because it was just ridiculous. And the Jungle Book dance will go down in history for a major bonding experience and slight childhood trauma, honestly. I think my stage fright stems from that dance.
Honestly? Same. I don't really have stage fright.
Oh my lord.
Even though pressing record on this episode was the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
We did have a slight panic about that. We were screaming at each other.
Anyway.
Where do Well, next is secondary. That's where we go next.
Yeah, I feel like we do. Because obviously, like I said before, we got chucked in the same form.
And to clarify, forms in our school weren't between years.
No, stop a second.
Oh, what have we missed?
France?
Oh my god, yeah. I literally have a photo of it behind me. France. We weren't in the same room, were we?
We weren't. But we have the photo.
We do have the photo, which is behind me.
There is a photo. I will put it on screen. There is a girl in it, so I have to get her permission to put it on screen when
You could crop it. She's on the side.
Oh, is she? I will possibly cut the photo. But so pretty much our year 6 trip. Obviously now people go in the UK because of COVID and all that.
And they can't even do that.
But it doesn't really. But like I don't know, like a couple of years back, like someone went to like Kent. So
we did that in year 5. We went to Carlton in year 5, but no, France was our year 6 trip, which was pretty cool.
So we did France in year 6, and we weren't in the same room. I was with the girls that I ended up being friends with in like year 3. That was one of them anyway. We were in a double. I loved it.
I don't even know how I ended up in the room that I ended up in because, like, I don't remember being particularly close to any of them.
No, like I said, I not use names because ask for all permissions to use their names, and it's
If we have to use names, we will be bringing out some fantastic random names from Pinterest.
Genuinely. So and that was a major bonding experience because again that mutual friend wanted to talk to both of us, so we ended up kind of like chatting.
I mean, technically you also briefly year 6 dated a mutual friend of ours.
Oh my god, that's what I did.
You really did. For like the entirety. I've just remembered a brilliant France story.
Okay.
Which is not brilliant for you because it wasn't. No, I can imagine it was very painful. You like fell and everyone thought you'd like snapped you back in half because you fell off of this flipping climbing frame.
I did it. I and there was a lad watching me do it, and he didn't come over to help or anything.
Yeah, but then obviously all the girls found out, and then it was like, oh my gosh, she's like broken her back, and it was an entire thing. But yeah, you did that. You really did that.
Not where I thought it was with that, but I'll just
there is another thing I could do, but I'm not going to do that. Say another good France story. It doesn't include you, but I think you possibly knew about it. We had a bug in our room one night, and a lovely lad who we went to school with Superman ran across. So the boys were in like a separate bit, like a separate building. He Superman ran to our room to get this. I don't even know what it was, like stick insect possible. Like I don't know, it was some sort of bug, and the girls were freaking out. So I had to go and get this poor lad. Bear in mind, it was like the night, so like we were all meant to be in bed. He came running across in, of course, a tiger onesie because we were 11. Literally halfway across this flipping place we were staying. It was ridiculous.
Genuinely.
A lot of things happened on that trip, though.
I feel like any different episode we're gonna do like a trips.
Yeah, we will go more into trip stories because they're funny. They are very funny.
Now I feel like we can jump to secondary school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I will go back to my explanation of how forms worked because we found from lots of friends that went to different schools in our area and outside of our area. Apparently, it's weird to have forms that are just like, especially to your year group, which is how our forms worked. Like our tutor groups, but a lot of other places have them with people from every single year, which is weird. But apparently, we're the weird ones. So yeah, Katie and I were put in that form with a lot of people from our primary school. Oh, well, there are quite a few. There are a few of us. Right, let me think. Me, you, two other girls I can think of immediately.
There's 2 boys. There's like 6 of us, 7 of us.
Yeah, we'll say that. 6 or 7 of us, which is still pretty decent for a form of like 20 something.
I think there was like 23 of us.
At the start, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it blew out of control by the end of it. Because we were
Exactly.
in a really nice form. Yeah, we got stuck together in that form, so we were basically joined at the hip for 5 years.
That was literally put up mouth.
Tell you, right? This is the problem, right? We've been stuck to. That's another counter we need. Let's keep adding counters. Me saying right. But yeah, we were stuck together for like 5 years, so we could end. I think definitely us being informed together was a big thing.
And like, and by the end of it, we were sat next to each other as well.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely. So we got a new school building in our 3rd year.
Yeah.
So I feel like 7 and 8, we didn't really sit next to each other. Because I know I sat right in the back row with the lads. I was one of the lads.
I mean, there were other reasons, especially in year 7, why you sat with the lads, but we won't go there.
Set of lads then.
Wrong set of lads. Oh, dodgy. I honestly don't know. I think we kind of flitted about a little bit.
I feel like we all said.
Yeah, definitely. Of what is, I mean, the culmination of our friendship was definitely Key Stage 4, music and history. Because did we ever not see each other in Key Stage 4? I'm not really sure. I mean, apart from certain lessons, we pretty much saw each other all the time. Like, we'd go into school, we'd have form, we'd then go to a lesson, which we'd sometimes have together.
Yeah, and if it was we'd spend all morning together.
We'd then have break, which we'd spend, you guessed it, together. We'd then have another lesson where we may or may not be together. Then we'd have lunch where we were together. And then we had another 2 hours where we may or may not have been together. And then we'd come home and, oh wait, as if we hadn't had enough of each other, we would call.
Yeah. Like, I remember one of the days, it was like, I had double French, and then I had music, and then I think we had history.
No, we didn't have a full day of options ever.
Oh, that's then we probably had like math and English or math and science, but I'd literally seen Emma all morning. Or like that, like
it's like we'd walk to lessons together as well. That's a big thing.
Yeah. It's like we'd just always be around each other.
It was a bit creepy. People probably were slightly scared.
Let's just say people thought there was more than a friendship going on.
Yikes. Did they actually? I never heard that ever.
Yeah, I feel like it was me though, because I've had that said about me twice. So I feel like it might have just been me. But then I don't think I give off that. I have nothing against that community. We'll get into this a little bit later on. I have nothing against that community, but it was just been a me thing. It's been a me thing.
Is that like how one of our other friends, who I don't know if he'll allow us to name him, but he probably will. He made the music, so I'm gonna credit him with that. Thanks, Ewan. You're now getting mentioned and dragged. Is that like how Ewan gives off gay vibes?
Yeah,
despite not being gay at all.
Despite having a girlfriend.
Poor guy.
Anyway,
it's fine. I put credit in for him. I have to allow. No, I'm joking.
So yeah, school was, especially secondary, because there was a lot of stupid relationships that I got into, and a shit ton of drama that did not need to happen. And like, Em was just there, and it was like, Katie, it's like, fucking head out. What are you doing?
I probably said that exact thing
exactly
multiple times. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I didn't have as much drama or as many relationships, but my standard of relationship was probably just as shit, if not worse. No, I'd say I think we'll go just as.
I think them two lads are equal.
Yeah, when you think about, we'll dive more into this, but this is not an opening episode conversation to have. So we will leave you hanging on that conversation.
I feel like this is a good place, same always together, to jump into college, since we are both second year students at different colleges.
That is a very good idea. Yes. I go to a college in the town that I live in, and Katie goes to one. It's about 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away.
Are you
At least from me. You are?
It takes like 40 minutes to get to college.
Yeah, I'm going between the two colleges, Katie. It's about 25 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So I'm about 25 minutes away from Emma's college. And so obviously I take a creative media course, which is why I get to be the lovely editor of all these videos. And I'm trying to remember what Emma takes. What does Emma take? Emma, what do you take?
I'll take it over then. I do A-levels in Spanish, history, and psychology. So I definitely do slightly more academic things because I'm doing an EPQ as well, which I would explain, but it's just an extra thing. It's fine. We won't go.
I remember things from a while back, and we both first years, and I took a comics class first year, and I could make a comic. And this one time, Emma was like conjugating verbs or something in Spanish,
and you were drawing.
I was researching Marvel Spider-Man.
You were researching Spider-Man, and I was so mad because I was doing grammar.
And just the random shite that I'm doing in my course. Like I took like photography and comics, and this year I had to take graphic design and film, and then there's Emma that's like, I don't understand this translation, and I'm like, I've got to storyboard. And
Katie spent half of her life storyboarding.
Genuinely, that course should be called Storyboarding 101. Genuinely.
But yeah.
Any story.
But yeah, that was definitely a lot, and we knew it was going to happen, obviously, because we applied for college before, and we were like, shit, we're not going to see each other like all the time.
Yeah,
it was weird. But I think we kind of got a bit of a taste of having other people because I started TVYO.
Yeah,
which I don't mind naming because it's fine. Which is just a local orchestra, basically. And that meant that I got this entire new group of friends, to which Katie, I think, kind of was like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Hello, I'm a person. I'm still here.
We did still speak. We are making it sound a little bit worse than it was, because obviously we were still at school. But yeah, I think that was a big thing that kind of prepped us a bit for going to different colleges, because I started in year 11, I think.
I feel like you did.
Yes, because this would have been my third year, but online.
And then at the same time, I'm a God person.
That's how I was God people.
And I went back to church because I was struggling a little bit just in myself, having to go to college and everything.
Oh yeah.
So I decided to go back to my family church, which is back in my hometown. I still go there every now and then to visit my dad, who still lives there. And I went to like the kids club on a Friday night, and I ended up loving going there and going to church.
It's quite funny that it was on a Friday night. We both had our Friday night friendship group.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I think I should trademark that Friday night friendship group.
Of which some of mine are probably listening to this. Well, big love. They do follow.
So, hi guys, and hi to the big guy upstairs.
Hold on.
So, yeah.
But that was definitely a big change, and that whole kind of separation thing is actually a pretty good segue into how this came about.
Yeah.
Are we going full in on what actually happened on your birthday last year?
Pretty much.
That was really deep.
As this episode goes up, Emma will be 18.
Woo!
Oh, happy birthday for Thursday, Emma.
Yeah, this goes up the day after, hopefully. Come on, editor Katie, you've got this. I believe in you.
My birthday. Obviously, we were all locked down and everything, and the restrictions. My birthday's the 3rd of July. It's the same as my dad's. And all the restrictions were getting lifted. 4th. So we were like, nah, things getting lifted to 4th.
Well, technically, we could still visit people inside. Technically. Yeah. Like, it was allowed. And just to preface this, we did actually, like, we weren't, like, all up in each other's business, like, the entire day. We did actually, like, spread out when we could.
Yeah.
We should probably preface that.
Mm-hmm.
We also didn't have visitors. There were, like, 4 of us.
So there was me, Emma, Ewan, who was the guy who wrote the music you guys listened to, and then there was my boyfriend Matthew. And they all came over for my birthday. And it was a beautiful day. So we spent some time outside.
It was
beautiful. And then it got really cold all of a sudden. And my mum had gone to work because she was still being allowed to go to work. So we came inside, and I had karaoke set up for like the longest time, and I couldn't do it with anyone because our parents refused to do it with me. So
anyone that knows us knows that we love a good sing song.
Yeah.
Katie and I do.
You? Yeah. So we've looked for the mics and everything. Got some radio mics, got an amplifier. We were set. So we had a good little sing song. And the lads,
it took us like 50 hours to set up the mics because they weren't working.
Yeah, but we talk about
worth it though. 100% worth it. As for the chicken nuggets we ate.
Oh, good. So and so the lads went home, and it was just me and Emma, and we were just sat on the floor
singing Disney songs.
Songs at that point,
and then speaking in between.
And I just started to talk to Emma through the microphone, and I was like, "Yo, this is really cool. We should start a podcast just so we can do this."
Even though neither of us currently speaking through microphones. The idea was born back in July. Then a lot happened. We kind of left it because we were going to start it when we got back to college. Then we got back to college and we were like, shit, we've actually got a lot to do right now, so we can't really do it. And then November rolled around because I had to find the cover art recently. November rolled around and we were like, we should probably actually get on this.
Yeah.
So we did.
And I have been editing away.
I've just been chilling. I run the account. I run 2 of the accounts, and that's my job.
Everyone runs the social medias, and unless I post something about editing, and I'm the YouTuber. I get to be a YouTuber.
That's how that was kind of. But do we want to mention some almost names, by the way, because they were funny, and I know you have them written down somewhere.
Yeah, seriously, the podcast is when things go south. So pretty much
that was not our first idea.
It's not the first idea at all. So the first idea, we wanted to have the daily breakdown.
Because that's us. We
genuinely have a breakdown almost every freaking day. But unfortunately, there is a podcast in New Zealand that already has that. So we then went to things are happening when shit hits the fan and breakdowns are happening.
Because we like the phrase when shit hits the fan because
like the
same.
I feel like I said it today already. Well, this episode anyway. But yeah, and then I came up with things go south, and I was like, yo, you know what? I kind of like this. So I messaged Emma and was like, yo, when south.
And I was like, let's add a when.
And then we have the name of when things go south.
It was like a really weird time at night as well. He sent the message. Yeah. I swear, it was like really odd.
Like really late. I just woke up. It kind of correlates as well because technically we're both going south for university.
Yes.
Even though we're not going to the same one.
We're going pretty well. Hopefully, we're going pretty close.
Hopefully, we're going pretty close.
We won't be too far.
No. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that was the reason why. This is a fun one. The original art that we came up with before Katie literally spent 10 minutes and came up with an entire new cover art, which is now what you see, was a compass in the background, because it was kind of representing that we are actually we are the things going south.
We are indeed.
But yeah, I think that's like a big one. But also I think when it would have been around September when we were still throwing around the idea, and you decided to introduce me to this podcast because I was having breakdowns all the time, and you were like, listen to this. So, literally, I think we referred to them quite a lot in the creative process.
Yeah, definitely.
That was quite fun. But yeah, that is how this came about. Many random anywhere between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning talks, especially in the past week, being like, should we do this? Should we do this? I mean, we like doing things at very bad times. Like the introduction that we figured out 2 seconds before Katie hit record.
Yeah.
That kind of sums up that kind of brings us up to now. I don't know.
I guess it does.
Yeah.
It's like a really fucking quick overview of us.
I mean, we have just summed ourselves up in an hour, pretty much. That's impressive.
35 minutes. But honestly, we will be going into more detail in episodes to come.
Yes. Do we want to maybe talk a little bit about what we're going to possibly cover in a little bit more detail?
Do you wanna show?
Yeah, so we mentioned before about travel stories, because we have them. We have quite a few of them, both together and apart. And I think that there can be quite a lot you can learn from travel. Yeah, you really see the best and worst of people when you travel. It's horrendous. So that will definitely be something coming. Do you want me to keep shooting?
Yeah, you keep shooting.
You can make comments. We touched a little bit. Obviously, we're going to uni in September / October, depends, because I could be going more in October. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about that at some point, and like how we're coping with that entire process. Because obviously we've both applied and firmed, I believe we've chosen.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I remember that right. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that and how that was an entire thing, especially with COVID, because I think that's quite a unique thing.
And girls have some taboo subjects that people maybe don't like talking about. But you know what? We are
face them head on.
Yeah, and we be chatting about them. We also have had some, let's say, difficult friendships that we will be touching on. We have the person's permission to touch on. We are now not
civil.
Yeah, we're now civil with
civil.
We have their permission to chat about that. And
we'll probably just kind of talk about a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah,
like
we're still both at college, still both at work. We're still I'm shooting a music video next month. Like this month.
I mean, even things that like we're seeing happen. Like, I mean, R.I.P. Captain Tom, who literally it came out that he died about 30 minutes before we started recording this, and just telling stories and kind of sharing a whole do as we say, not as we do, because we've really made some bad choices. But yeah, I think that's definitely the main aim, is to just and to entertain, give advice and entertain with our shitty decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like a roundup.
That's pretty pretty good roundup. So bit of a shorter one, but they will get longer as Katie and I go into absolute tangents about everything. And editor Katie will slowly hate us more and more. Yeah, it's going to get to a point where we're just going to get photos of Katie each week, just like crying internally, possibly externally.
Yeah, because I'm editing this on college work as well, so it's gonna be fun.
This was your decision.
Have a free afternoon tomorrow.
Nice for some.
Yeah. So I think, are we gonna sign off?
I think this is a good place to sign off. Yeah.
So thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Speak soon.
Bye.